What's up, Kyuzou here, and welcome to Passive Exiles for Dummies, a series forgotten. So in this episode, we will have a look at Sirus. The amount of watchstones equipped on your atlas will determine his difficulty. You first get to fight him with 20 watchstones at Awakener level 5, and as you get more stones, his difficulty will rise up to level 8. So once you've defeated his 4 guardians, you talk to Sana to spawn the portals. As you enter the arena, he will spew meteors. You want to watch out for these, they do a lot of damage and the meteors overlap. They deal a mixture of physical, fire, lightning and chaos damage. He will yell Rain of Stars as he does this. He also constantly places meteor gazers that does damage over time in the form of physical, fire and lightning. So to actually start the fight, we have to run directly underneath him to activate his descent. As ranged, you want to strafe a lot. You want to try and get the timing right. You kind of want to like attack, strafe, attack. Always want to move to avoid the meteors and his lasers, although at this phase the laser doesn't really do much. It does physical, fire and lightning damage. So on my Detonate Dead character here, you can see that I basically do Desecrate, Strafe, Detonate, Strafe, Desecrate, Strafe, Detonate, Strafe, to always be on the move to avoid his lasers and the meteors. So whenever he yells die, you definitely want to move away from his face. As a melee character, it's a little bit trickier. You just have to make sure you're always behind him to avoid his laser. He also teleports a lot, but if you pay attention, he will face the direction he teleports. Once he goes down to 75%, he will go up in the air, or if you leave the large red circle for too long, do not stand on top of him, because the deautomization storm, which I will call the swirly thing, because deautomization is a hard word, the swirly thing will spawn and instantly kill you if you're on top of it. It does damage over time, fizz, fire and chaos. He also does a sweep double laser from above that goes boom. You don't want to stand in that. Once he goes up in the air, you will get knocked back away from him. The knockback does no damage. So this phase, the swirly things will fly around slowly. You want to avoid these. So while he is in the air, he is going to do a lot of meteors and gazers. And to end this phase, you have to run directly underneath him to activate his descent. This phase, his laser will hurt a little more and he will start doing more abilities like summoning a mace around you. The exit is marked with some flares. If you don't leave the mace, you will get hit for about 20k. I suggest lifting that cute skirt of yours and start running. He also summons 2 walls around you this phase where he will chug balls at you. Either zigzag to avoid them, which can be difficult, or run as fast as you can towards him and out of the wall to end the ability early. The balls deals physical, fire, lightning and chaos damage. Once he hits 50%, he will go up in the air again, and depending on RNG and your damage, he might go up in the air more often or just to piss you off. He will do the same things again, the double laser boom and the meteors, until you run directly beneath him again. If the swirly things are overwhelming, just run far off screen for a minute or two to give it time to go away. I've noticed if you run and hide to the far right, you are 100% safe. This phase he will do the exact same things as before, but the mace he summons now has 2 layers. Again, the exits are marked with flares. Once you get him to 30%, he will go up in the air again, and once you activate his descent, he will heal up to 70%, and now things will get difficult. He will no longer do meteors during the fight though. The mace he summons in this phase will now have 3 layers. Again, all exits are marked with flares. He will clone himself to form a full circle and hide his true position while he charges up a laser. If you're quick enough, you can actually spot where he is because he will face the direction he teleports. This is why it's super important to be on top of him at all times, even as a ranged character. When he says feel the thrill of the void, very shortly after he will shoot the laser, and it can one-shot you. It does physical and lightning damage and always shocks, which is why ailment avoidance is really helpful should you get hit. If you pay close attention and are quick enough, you'll see the real him light up right before he shoots, which could give you enough time to get away if you didn't see where the real him was the first time. There's also another clone ability where there's 4 of him and he charges up 4 lasers towards himself. Only one can be damaged, and if you pay close attention you can see where he is because he will face the direction he teleports. He also lights up where the real him is. After this, there will be rotating lasers, and if you touch the laser, you will get a debuff that makes you 6% slower and make you take 10% increased damage per stack. So if you get too many stacks, I suggest focusing solely on avoiding anything it does rather than try to counterattack until the debuff expires. You also don't want to have the slow debuffs on you when doing the mace. During this, he will teleport around and use his deadly laser right after yelling die. So you really want to stand behind him at all times. If you lose sight of him, you're most likely going to die, as the laser fires multiple times in succession and doesn't just choose one location, it actually follows you very quickly as well. It deals physical, fire, cold, or lightning. Each beam is different. It also applies Corrupting Blood, so you'll want a Corrupting Blood immunity jewel or be very quick with a bleed removal flask if you get hit. So this phase basically rotates between the 3-layer mace, the full circle clone, the 4-circle clone, and the rotating lasers until he is dead.